pulled into Port Perry Hospital parking lot in the freezing rain. My left hand was a little stiff, but we weren't there because of that. We were there to bring our little girl into the world. I was excited, and no way was I disappointed, just worried. What was I going to teach a little girl? I'm a former jock, closet science fiction comic book nerd. I can lift weights and recite useless pop culture references, but none of that will be useful. She was born the next morning, a healthy baby girl, just like we were told. My wife wanted to know because we didn't like surprises, but clearly, nearly 2 years later, a big surprise was coming. I have good news, we didn't find anything, but I have bad news, we didn't find anything, my doctor said. My wife had made me go to the doctor because my left hand had gotten so stiff I couldn't fish change out of my pocket. Countless MRIs and CAT scans and x-rays later, I ended up on the 7th floor of Toronto Western Hospital being told to open and close my hands, move my wrists back and forth, walk down a hallway, and finally get pushed from behind into a wall. That read Toronto Western Hospital Movement Disorder Clinic. My doctor sat me down in the office and gave it to me straight. I think you have Parkinson's, she said. If these pills help, then we'll be sure. I didn't realize the seriousness of what she was saying or even believe it was happening to me, but sure enough, it was happening to me. I started to research online and read things like this. Parkinson's is a progressive movement disorder caused by a lack of dopamine in your body, which also affects mood, speech, short-term memory loss, and even takes your sense of smell. Although all Parkinson's patients are different. The more I read, the worse it got. My life had just gotten started and I felt like I was looking at the end. My job, my house, my family, all in jeopardy. I was especially angry at the fact that my now 2-year-old girl would not have a normal upbringing that I had. This thing I have to live with is going to steal even the smallest thing. I've been cursed. I felt time was ticking on my life, at least the quality of it, so I doubled down, trying to be the best father I could. Getting up in the morning, making breakfast, taking her swimming, to the zoo, no matter how tired or, I'm ashamed to say, hungover I was. After having to stop working, my alcoholism reached its peak, and during this time my marriage fell apart, but I was able to sober up and triple down at being a dad. More swimming, more zoo, more parks. Even in the bad weather, we'd play video games, watch movies, read comics. We had season passes to Wonderland one summer. She got so bored of going to an amusement park. I made sure I was available for all her school field trips, activities, to the point where I was rejected so other parents had a chance. She would worry about me sometimes. I would just tell her, I'm always going to try for you. We were having our nightly sleepy time tea, my meds were off, and I struggled to put it up to my face. As I sipped, I said sarcastically, what's it like having a dad around with you who can do all these things and take you to the park and barely carry his own tea? I feel lucky, she said. I paused and asked her why. Because you have Parkinson's, you don't have to work. You can spend more time with me. You take me swimming, to the zoo, Canada's Wonderland. You come to all my school activities. A lot of my friends' parents have to work and just way too busy to spend time with me. So I'm glad you have Parkinson's. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. My 8-year-old girl just taught my 38-year-old ass a lesson in perspective. Now I was worried about what I was going to teach her. But maybe she's here to teach me. Is it possible that Parkinson's made me a better father? Would I have tried so hard, being as attentive and taking the time we had together for granted? Maybe our so-called curses can be miraculous blessings in a horrible disguise. It's up to us to see it that way. I was worried about my daughter having a normal upbringing, but she doesn't know any different, and apparently she doesn't want it any other way.